All right, so we are good, Lakshmi. You can go back to your classes and I'll handle from here. So, welcome everyone. We have with us, we've gathered here to celebrate the success story. We've had many of these, and as and when we find time, we are able to invite people who've been successful, who have a story to share, who can motivate us, who can guide us, who can give us tips, all sort of things, right? So, today we have with us Ruby Gunna, aka Roopmati Gunna, who's joining us from US, and she's based in New Jersey, and she's going to tell her story raw. We have we don't discuss any questions. We discuss raw stories. We discuss. You guys get the opportunity to ask all kind of questions. Um, so I'll ask her a few questions and about her introduction, and then you guys can. I'll give you space to you guys to ask whatever you want to ask. Keep it limited to data engineering careers. We don't discuss salaries. We don't discuss anything that is confidential and protected by the NDA, right? So, having said that, let's get started. So, welcome, Ruby. Once again, you're back with us. Ruby's also our Get AI Ready lead. She's one of the leads of COE, and she's done tremendous work getting lots and lots of people certified last year and this year. And she continues to bring us surprises. So, Ruby, for people who do not know you, would you want to get started by giving your introduction a little bit?
Definitely. So, thanks everyone for joining on Saturday, what must be early Saturday morning. I'm currently working as a data engineer in a very large commercial bank. They are one of the top firms in United States. And I have the opportunity to work day in and day out on ETL pipelines using a combination of Databricks and Azure Data Factory. But my journey started by taking what started as self learning and then eventually taking Ashok's MAID program and building on top of it. So currently, I'm doing all the practical applications of what I learned before and much more. So it's a fast evolving world, and there's lots of challenges every day at work. But I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you a typical interview question. How did you get into data engineering? And you've already kind of answered that question. But education wise, you've done your engineering, you've done an MBA at top of it. So, how do you really get motivated into the world of data? Because you could have done 100 other things with engineering, 100 other things with the MBA. What about the data motivated you, data engineering in particular?
Yeah, I can say that in my previous work, I was working as a procurement buyer at a very large EPCM. And every day, my work involved looking at contracts and looking at numbers, like how much is the purchase order, how much is the bid evaluation. So I can say that looking at numbers and crunching numbers was part of it, but I was not doing it using the tools that we at the COE may be familiar with. But when moved to US, that's when I started taking data analytics courses with starting with the Google Data Analytics course, where I got the taste of understanding how we can even weave stories, with tell stories and explain things using data, but showing that visually to other people.
Gotcha. So, Ruby, I'm going to ask you a weird question. Some of them will be very weird. Some of them, for example, one of the perceptions that people have in mind is, hey, these people are in Germany or US and they're abroad. So, majority of people in India, when they look at US, they see skyscrapers and they see, tariffs news from the TV. They see all kind of things. Uh, so, um, so there is good and bad in every place you stay in. So as a lady uh, in the United States, you've been here some time. Um, Talk to us about a little bit about the challenges any professional, whether it's a girl or a guy, or whether he's been here 1 year or whether he's been here 10 years, what kind of challenges people face in the United States in a typical IT profession, or particularly with data engineers? I mean, what do you see happening around you? Because I want to give a perception to people that everything is not rosy uh, in India, and it's not rosy in US either, or it's not rosy in Germany, or not rosy in Dubai, or because every place comes with its own challenges. So I want to let people know about the challenges faced by women, in particular, in US.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the biggest things that women, I can speak that from personal perspective, is for us Indian professionals to work here, we need a visa. So H1B is the preferred path for people coming from India. But what happens in the case of women, especially, is that the primary primary holder of the visa is actually the could be the husband in the family, and so the woman already working, even though working in India, cannot expect to immediately start working here, because they would have to wait for certain processes that the primary holder has to get approval for them to then get H4EAD. So this is one huge barrier for families, people with families considering going to United States or even any country with immigration programs, Australia, Canada PR program. Also, you need to wait until you get your PR, although not as much as the United States. So this is one, I think, very, very huge barrier and difficulty for already high achieving women who might be doing very well in their organization, even in leadership positions back in India.
So apart from the immigration challenges in different countries, and they're all different kind of things, whether you're a student on STEM program, or you are on H1B visa, or even if you're on green card, uh, there are different set of challenges at different stages of your life. However, talk to me a little bit about the life in India versus life in US, because in India you can get a maid to do something, you can get two maids, three maids, you can get a driver to chauffeur you around, you can, so there are those kind of things, and people feel when they see skyscrapers and big sofas and yacht and all those buildings, some people, not all, people are very smart, but some people still have very fancy ideas about these countries in general. So, what are the realities? I mean, of being, let's say, in New York. Talk to us about New Jersey, New York, because I know
Yes.
just like Bombay, there could be traffic, there could be this, there could be that. So talk to us about few of them, so that we get a feel for a life, a professional's life in the US.
Yeah, I can start by sharing my own, my own everyday challenges. Primary one is in terms of doing everything yourself. So here we don't have the luxury of maids as back in India. So everyday chores like making your food, cooking, cleaning your bathroom, keeping your house clean, everything has to be done by ourselves only. So that is totally we have to be independent without any help from any paid domestic servants. That is the huge thing. Another thing is, as with any metropolitan city, traffic is a huge thing, and so is pollution. So commuting you can consider as part and parcel of your life. People on an average commute 1 hour. I know from Mumbai and other places, they might say, oh, that's nothing. But if you're living in the suburbs, people do live in the suburbs. Suburbs means, I don't know what's the equivalent. Yeah, so where there's less traffic. people travel from the suburbs to the city to work and go back. So on an average, they spend roughly 2.5 hours in travel just to get to work and back. And then after that, they don't have the support of any servants doing anything. There's no driver, there's no person to clean the car, there's no person to have your food made or your laundry present and everything. You have to do every single thing yourself. So
Mm,
that is something that I found people may not be very accustomed to doing everything by yourself.
yeah, because it's very clear that we can't just think about the comforts of being in such a country. I mean, we are grateful for the comforts. At the same time, we have to not ignore the challenges because you're dealing with a complete different culture from India. So a lot of people get a culture shock when they come here, or they want to mix up only with the Indian community. They want to mix up only with the, let's say, a Telugu guy wants to mix up with a Telugu guy, a Sardarji wants to mix with other Sardarjis. That kind of thing happens, and we have to be, we have to watch out for that. We have to prepare for that before we come to any country, because every country has their customs and way of doing things, and one must learn it. Anyhow, I'll move on to uh, more more data engineering type of questions. So you, after you complete this course, talk to me about the experience of the course, because I think you have dabbled in a lot of self learning as well before the course and after the course. Because you are the queen of certifications, so you did a lot of things on your own as well. So talk to us a little bit about both of those experiences.
Definitely. So while doing the program and even before it, I had accelerated learning using Microsoft Learn resources. And I also took the base level certifications as foundational learning. For example, I had done the data fundamentals, the DP 900 certification.
Mhm.
And once I was gone through the program, I also tackled the DP203 Azure Data Engineering Associate certification. And as I was going through these certifications, sorry, Harish, did you have a question? So, as I was going through this certification, I was like building my knowledge block by block by not only learning the concepts but also implementing what I was learning. And what happened is, along with the practical experience of the course and the certifications, I started building a very good profile that somebody in a hiring mode might be looking at.
Gotcha. So, usually, as a part of any IT course or beyond even beyond that, many people tend to do projects. So, can you tell us any one project that you are proud of, or that you did and that helped you a lot to present information to different interviewers or hiring managers?
Yeah, so I had even in the course there is the Spark programming based project included. But apart from that, you can see I started building a portfolio where I did SQL case challenges. I also did Power BI visualizations and Tableau visualizations. So my aim was to show how multifaceted I am in being able to use the tools of the trade. You would see that I also participated in competitive things. For example, there is a company that was running projects. You would get access to projects once a month, and you have a go at using their online code editor to complete the code and get featured on Times Square. So I participated in challenges like that. And you can also see at during that time the SQL challenges, steel challenges was becoming a thing. Dan, I forget the last name. So there was a lot of challenges happening apart from public challenges and also like Maven Analytics challenges that I used to participate in.
Understood. So, Ruby, talk to us, because a lot of people, many people ask us, you know, talk to us a little bit about your interview experiences. So, for example, in India, we all know how that works. We have had many seminars on that. A lot of people want to know how does it work in US? How many rounds do you have? What type of interviews are there? Technical, behavioral, culture fit, case studies, what kind? And then they also ask us in India, people are big fan of either Naukri or LinkedIn or other portals. What works in particularly in US? Is it any different? Is there some magic trick to applying for jobs?
Yeah, I would say there's two answers to that. So if you are somebody who has a lot of experience and are coming in at a very experienced level, then LinkedIn is the best. But I also found that this is specific to the United States, is that there are a lot of IT consulting firms that cater. They are the second level vendor to firms like the one I work for. So they also post their uh, openings through Dice. I found Dice, posting on Dice got me calls, interview calls, and posting on LinkedIn and being active on LinkedIn made sure that recruiters were reaching out to me through emails. So I would
Gotcha.
say I wasn't the one applying 50 jobs per day, easy apply on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, anything. This could be something that happened organically for me, that recruiters came. But I found that if you're very much experienced, people hunt for you on LinkedIn. But if you're trying to establish your foothold here, you've had a few years of gap since working in India, taking care of your child or something, and you want to get back in the workforce, IT consulting firms could be also an avenue.
Did you find that like careerbuilder.com or um, you have monster.us and monster.ca, do those kind of things also help?
I personally haven't used them, so I cannot comment about it. My search was primarily on LinkedIn, Dice, and there's one for startup firms called otajobs.com. Oh, I only focused on these three websites.
Gotcha. So Ruby, the you answered the second question first. I'm going to go back to the first question. Like in United States, for a data engineer role, let's say I'm coming out with a I'm a data engineer with 3 years experience and kind of I'm an IT person, XYZ degree. Now, let's say I applied to LinkedIn or whatever portal and I got through. And so, what happens after that? I mean, am I contacted by a recruiter first? And I just want to talk to people about the process of the interviews.
Definitely. So I have interviewed that the major firm that I work for, and I can tell from experience of others as well. Usually, the first round is the HR screening round. This is a person whose only job is to tick off your information on a certain form. So they will ask standard set of questions like, "What is your background? What is you have any certifications? What is of years of experience?" And they are like data collection. They would take all the information and put it into their database along with their resume. Once you qualify and you are one of the top candidates in this round, there's nothing you can do here that would make you outshine. It's purely based on how strong your resume is. That is why having a very good resume right at the gate is very important, and how confidently you're answering relaying the information in that first screening call. Once you're done with that, you are scheduled with the interview with the team that you will be working with. This usually is a fully technical interview. Here you can have interviews by a single person or multiple persons in series of interviews. So for the when I was first interviewed for mine, I had four different people. They were SMEs in different aspects. One was a Power BI SME, one was a solution architect, One was the team lead position and had a lot of ETL data stage experience, and one was in Databricks. So all the four people interviewed me. So you could have a combination of that, and the interview would be totally technical. Now, some firms, based on the kind of environment they operate in and governance principles they have for hiring people, they might expect you to attend the interview in person because of, in order to avoid any spoofing and I don't know what's the term for it when somebody else interviews for you. They want to avoid that happening as they are operating in governed and regulated industries. So they often ask you to come to the office. So this is where it could get intimidating, answering very tough technical questions in front of the person in an office kind of environment where you're getting interrogated. So one needs to prepare for both remote and in person. So for me, the first round was technical. It was taken by two people, a solutions architect and team lead level person. And the second level, they asked me to come to the office. This was 2.5 hours I was grilled, as I explained, by everybody from the Power BI SME to the executive director of the team that is hiring me. So you got to be ready for all situations and mm, speaking confidently, even if you don't know the answer, but being able to justify your answer is very important in these cases.
Gotcha. Ruby, when a person gives an interview, typically they're prepared for certain typical questions, the FAQs. But how does one prepare for surprise questions or tricky questions that catches off guard?
I have one theory about that. I think the whole idea of tricky questions is your manager or whoever you are going to be reporting wants to see how quick you are on your feet and being able to handle tough situations. The expectation is not a right answer. The expectation is your approach of how you're handling the situation. So I got
Perfect,
asked,
perfect. Exactly,
yeah.
exactly what I had thought in mind, and it's very consistent with all the winners that tell us this, that the approach has to be right, even if your question you are not able to answer that question 100% because it was kind of out of the blue. Um, So Ruby, when we are applying, a lot of people tell me, in fact, there's a particular gentleman, he calls me every alternate day in the afternoons and says, Sir, market is so bad. And there's also, it's a couple people from India. There are these two or three people, literally almost every alternate day, they call me and they keep crying about the market or the position or something else or the other. And I have tried to be as polite and as nice as I can. Um, so I'll frame it into a question. So rejections are faced by everyone. And I keep asking this from every person. How do you handle rejections in career or life or any project that you're on, or in general? What's your view towards these setbacks or failures or rejections? How do you handle that, Ruby, as a person?
That's a great question, and knowing that how much you know about all the chaos and rejections that I have had, I think I approach rejections as something of a learning opportunity. If it's technical, I consider it there is not enough competency I have built in that area. So that means there is a gap I need to cover. And I take the rejection as a learning opportunity to fill the gap. And rejection personally also, that means I need to, it's not the right time for me. I need to wait and approach it but keep at it. No matter what, keep at it. So it's easy to say, but on the hindsight, you never win the lottery by not buying the ticket, right? So you got to buy the ticket first to have any shot of success. So I think of it in that way is that keep going no matter what, because what else is the alternative?
Mhm. That's pretty inspiring, Ruby. Ruby, I remember when you went for your interview, you absolutely knocked their shoes off. You you were asked something and you were able to immediately go to the whiteboard and start explaining them the diagram. It was they were very pleased with it. They were very happy with your knowledge and intelligence and how you answered that question. So you have done very well in the interviews. So but there are sometimes we have okay, let me frame it differently. In a typical data engineering interview that you've had, we learn about different topics. Which topics do you think uh, you got most of the questions from? Like some people say, hey, I got more questions from X topic or Y topic or Z topic. What were the topics which you think are very, very important to learn as an Azure data engineer with Databricks?
Yeah. So I would definitely say type 2 SCD is a very, very favorite question. I don't know why people are so obsessed about this change data capture in type 2 SCD. So that is a very common question. And another question that I face often is in terms of the rerunnability of ETL pipelines. So whether you're using Databricks jobs or ADF, often they will ask like what would you do in case of the pipeline failures, and what is the restart mechanism. And coming from a governance-based industry, again, there is always question about auditability, traceability. How are you doing the logging for the data that's coming in if it's a snapshot data? So that is very hot favorite question in terms of logging not only the failures but auditability of if there is monthly reports or quarterly reports. How are you maintaining the history of when this data came in? So that's a very common question I have faced.
Uh, can you tell us a couple more Azure Databricks areas where which I should study very carefully? For example,
Yes.
the Unity catalog is one of the areas. There, the streaming is another area. So, can you name couple areas while I'm studying, while I'm doing any course? What areas must I focus on very carefully to understand it properly? Because those are like data. Those are like, of course, the basic stuff like lake house versus warehouse, and those are the things that are important to learn for interviews.
Yes. So oftentimes you would be expected almost to know what is the purpose of the Unity catalog and why it is such an important data governance tool. So having the knowledge of what are the privileges, like how Unity catalog schema is defined and how would you operate. For example, again, going back to my industry, how would you handle PII data, personally identifying information data? What are some features available in Unity catalog for doing that? Is very
Mhm.
important. But we also have to consider the orchestration part. So Databricks is now pushing workflows, jobs and workflows. They keep renaming it, whatever that new name is. It is an
Yeah,
equivalent.
yeah, they're coming up
They
with
just
Databricks One and some agentic AI stuff, and also all these are all bound to happen. I mean, it's a 60, oh, sorry, $100 billion company now, so of course. Um,
So the orchestration part they ask a lot, as in how would you schedule the jobs? How would you make sure? There's a lot of question on clusters. So if the job failures with the cluster rerun, would you be warming up the cluster? So cluster-based questions often come up, and also expect now with Databricks pushing serverless compute. What is the advantage of serverless compute versus interactive shared cluster? What's the difference in terms of performance and pricing? And coming to performance topics, again, they will, I don't know how depth they might go into, but they might give you a few examples of joins and ask you, where do you think that processing n million number rows of this data is going to fail? And what would you do about it? So
Gotcha.
there's certain
So
big
those are
questions.
Yeah, those are very key questions, and thank you for sharing them. And as you know, COE has prepared with Sanjay. We have prepared a whole booklet on questions, and we keep upgrading it. So I'm sure that that book and a couple other books that we have come up with, the case analysis, is going to help a lot of people who are preparing for interviews. And right now, it is pretty. Uh, Nobody has ever done this, and we are doing it for the first time. We are giving away the books for free. It'll be available from S. Sanjay Chandra's website, because that's where we thought was the best place to put it. And we are continuously updating it almost every day. Anyhow, so Ruby, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to let the audience quickly. Uh, I will quickly take up questions from the audience as well. Ruby, how does one suppose I've done my course and I studied well. Now I've done some questions and I'm all ready for the interview. But while I'm taking the interviews, I'm also thinking about, hey, why don't I do the XYZ certification? Let's say I do a data engineer straight or an AZ certification from Microsoft. How do I know I'm prepared? Because let's say I've gone through, I've taken up a book and I've gone through its questions, or I've gone to learn.microsoft.com or Databricks community, where I have some questions and I prepared them. I cannot decide as a let's say I'm a fresher and I can't decide, am I really ready for the certification? Is it of any value to do that? So what was going on in your mind, and how did you, because you are a queen of certification, like I said before, what was going in your mind? How did you prepare for it?
For me, it was like trying to soak up as much as knowledge as possible. So, if you look at the list of certifications in Microsoft, they have it classified as data and then Power Apps and then the business side of it. So, I tried to focus and get all these certifications on the data side of it because I understood that they are all connected to each other, like cloud and data. The DP 900 fundamentals is closely related to the other certifications, and Power BI certification is closely related because you need to be able to build the end-to-end pipeline. You need to take the data and be able to display it in Power BI. So
So
that is how my need came in.
I get the fact about the connections and how they are linked to each other, but some people have the question: Are they even valuable when it comes to US? And we are talking about US specific stuff from your experience.
Mm.
So, are they considered valuable in the US to have a certification? Does it give you a foot in the door? What happens? I mean, do the employers at large value that extra effort that you've taken?
Yes, and definitely I would say yes. And it also depends with a grain of salt with the level of experience you have. So for somebody who is like 12 plus, over 15 plus experience, their actual working experience of handling major projects have they done as a team lead will carry more weightage than certifications. But if you are a master student and you have had 3 or 4 years of experience in India or maybe even less, and then you're trying to set out in US with your first job, I would say the certifications mark you and put you at a competitive advantage to the normal pool who may not have had certifications. And when you combine take the what you learn in the certifications with doing a practical project, that's the double whammy. That you talk about the project on your LinkedIn, that is where you have an extra gain. I do have to point out, during the time I was looking for jobs, I was very active on LinkedIn. I was posting stuff that I was learning, my certifications, my Microsoft Learn module completions and challenges, cloud challenges. So perhaps they might also have added value to my profile.
So, Ruby, I do want to thank you also for one thing. Not only you have prepared other people, you've given guidance to other people for certifications. You've been a career counsel. You've counseled them in their careers. You've given them a lot of motivation. So, and on behalf of the COE, I obviously thank you, and I'm proud of you for two different reasons. I mean, not only you have gone through, overcome all the challenges that you faced. Uh, you know in initial stages, but still you knock their socks off, and you see getting a job. is the first step, right? But maintaining the job and being appreciated, that's the step two. And you have shown success in both. And you you are, I mean, in many people do not know that, getting to a, it must have given you a lot of satisfaction starting from somewhere when you were taking the initial classes to now being a senior person, senior professional who's of the vice president rank. That's quite a, that's a um, evidence of your hard work, your ability to keep your focus. So all these are your great strengths that we usually don't get to talk about, but I want to take the opportunity of this session to say, thank you and congrats a lot. But I'll open it to other people now. Guys, Ruby today, it's pretty late in the night here, guys. I'm in Texas. Ruby's in New Jersey. It's really late, very late in the night. But we have time for a few questions, quick questions. If you want to ask anything about data engineering career experience, I've covered majority of the questions, but you guys are free to go ahead and ask any questions. So shoot your questions, guys. Aman, Dadavat, Harish, Lalit. You can unmute yourself and guys keep asking questions. Optionally, you can type in the chat box and I'll read it for you.
Sure. Hi, Arun. Hi, Ruby.
Hello.
Hi.
So, one thing I just want to know that means I've been following you for almost a year or more. Yeah. So, means from the time you are the active participant, and once you were, what say, active facilitator of this series. Okay. So, I saw you that upskilling and your active participation for all, what we say, uh, MS challenges and everything. So from that perspective, I just wanted to ask you one thing that when did you realize and means from your journey from India to US that you are going to move into this data engineering field only? And earlier, as if I means as per my knowledge, you were not the enthusiast of data engineer from initial time. So over the time, it's the transformation, right? So when did you realize that you are going to be in data engineering field?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So my journey started with Google Data Analytics, where I didn't know anything about the world of data, and then I thought I would transition into data analyst role. But as I was taking the different courses, and at that time I have to say more than normal average. I used to spend 8 hours a day studying content, Google content, Coursera content. So I was studying, and this is when I observed through LinkedIn, following certain people on LinkedIn, that Azure Cloud was being promoted as something as a very up and coming, not necessarily up and coming, like very growing kind of career that one should take in. So I started taking all these free cloud challenges and taking the modules. That is when I realized that that is not enough and I need to do something hands on to get the practical experience. But I think the transition from looking at the DA to DE had two major things. One is definitely the financial aspect of it, and one is the saturation aspect of it. Is if you go and look for data analysts, there are so many data analysts, whereas if you look at data engineer at that point in time, um, relatively the pool was less. So then I made a calculation. Okay, if at all I have to move, which would be a better pool for me to thrive in? That's how I made that jump.
And just one more question from my side. Sorry, it's second round. But what means if someone wants to what we say move from data analyst part to data engineer part now, what would be your suggestions, or what will be your guidance for those people?
Number one should have very solid understanding of cloud services. It could be any hyperscaler, but primarily I'm looking. Companies have either a AWS stack or an Azure stack. So when I say stack, means all of the major services that data engineers use for pipeline ingestion, orchestration, etc. So in the Azure stack, this would mean that you need to know Azure Data Factory, Databricks for transformation. You would need to know Azure Functions and web apps, and also your connectivity with. I'm speaking purely from what we are using at my firm. How you're using Power Apps, and for the BI aspect, either Power BI or Tableau. So this would become the Azure stack
Right.
as an example.
Thanks a lot.
So basically, ADF, PySpark, Databricks, that becomes your thingy if you're moving from a typical Excel SQL Power BI into data engineering side. Um, okay. Any other question, guys?
Hi Ruby, this is Pawan. Firstly, thank you for staying so late and sharing your journey with us. I have two questions. First question is, how much of system design and DS and algorithms are important for a data engineer role?
Um, I wasn't asked any questions, but I wouldn't say system design is not necessary. I took a look at Sanjay's, and I also recommend you read that. See, from the perspective of how would you design a system that would self-correct itself if it fails. So primarily as data engineers, we are building systems. We are building systems that run day in and day out, carrying data from here to that point. So in that perspective, they expect you to know how would you deal with volume if volume increases. If something fails, what will you know? If it fails, how do you make it restart? So systems based thinking, I would say, is important. But they didn't ask DSA questions to me. However, they did ask multi-parallel processing, like concurrent programming, and how you would have, how you'd be able to handle multi-threading and multi-programming scenarios. They ask that question.
So
Sure.
Pawan, mostly, unless you're applying for FANG companies, they typically, uh, or you're applying for like senior positions, they will not ask you questions on DSA. But we are not saying
Yeah.
that it's not important. We're saying it's important to learn about it at some stage of your life. As you keep growing, you want to understand the impact of design on whatever is it that you're doing. So it's good to learn, it's good to know, but typically they are not asked unless you are into FANG type interview. They have a design round.
Got it.
Next.
Thank you. My next question is, you mentioned about self-learning and you have spent a lot of time self-learning. Even I am doing the same, and I always think about how would I explain the project architecture in the interviews, because when we do a self-learning, everything is built by us, starting from ingestion till the data load to Power BI. But in corporate, maybe few other members of the team are assigned to different tasks, right? So how would we explain the project architecture in the corporate when we are doing everything on our own in self-learning?
That's a very good question, but I do suggest that you answer that you have individually handled, because that is how I also answered when I was asked the question. Because the expectation here is you have an understanding of end-to-end process from ingestion to transformation to serving through any of the BI platforms. You're not expected to be a Power BI expert. You're not expected to answer DAX expressions. Being able to answer end to end how your architecture work is very important. And they might also, and they did for me also, counter question, how did you handle volume? What was the failure points? How did you manage the failure points? What was the performance that this architecture that you developed had, how many
So
seconds did
guys,
it running?
so
Things like
guys,
that.
whether it is Ruby or there are other great successful people, all of us, like as a group, Ruby and I have shared different ideas on, hey, we have done, we've not literally done mock one-on-one, but we have discussed questions and what are the different perspectives of answering a certain question, depending upon which domain the client is from or what level of question they're asking. So it is also great to have mock sessions with people. So let's say, Pawan, you're preparing for a design round. Come have a mock with me. We will tell you how to answer. We'll see. So you have to describe what the team was doing, but you have to also, like Ruby said, focus on what your role did, not just the team. It's a great thing to talk about the collaboration that you had with the other people and what they did, but you have to focus more from the ownership that you took, the scope of your role on the team. So we can have with the Sanjay's Chronicles and the book that we've come up with, we intend to talk to people about that. Book is not just for downloading and just memorizing stuff. That book is meant to initiate discussions, so that people come talk to us, prepare for the interviews much better than they have been preparing so far.
And
Next
I
question,
think
please.
I have one idea is that take one of the cases from Sanjay's case book and look at that architecture. Try to imagine that you built that architecture, or try to explain it as if you built that architecture. Take any of those casebook examples, case studies, and try to explain it. And when you are questioned or counter questioned or why you do it this way or that way, that would become a real good experience of explaining it
Yeah,
in real interviews.
absolutely, Ruby. Yeah, great idea, because we already have a portfolio review group where the whole idea is to, whether it's a Power BI or a data engineering or Alteryx or whatever kind of a SQL project, whatever area the product is coming from, we discuss, and then we have a panel between me, Sanjay, a couple others. So Ruby will sit in a panel, and we will evaluate your, not only the technical skills, presentation skills, design skills, how you weave in things into GitHub. So there's not one person, but a panel of people give you different opinions. For example, Ruby has been a Toastmaster. So as you can see, she's on the screen, and everybody's asking her random questions. She's so patiently and nicely sharing these answers. This is this is also a skill to learn from somebody like Ruby, right? So Pawan, all that you do is get ready and be prepared. Don't at one point you'll have to stop thinking on how you will answer. Just do it and you'll know. Just come out of whatever fears, whatever hesitation you have. Just give it once, get the feedback, do it again, get a second round of feedback, and by the time you do the third one, you'll be like, hey, I feel prepared, I'm confident. That's what's going to happen in reality. It happens to the best of us. Next question. Priyanka, Senthil, Vipul.
May
Guys,
I add one more thing, Arun sir, here, that
yeah.
you don't have to build things from scratch. Like you could take one of the examples that Sanjay or somebody else on YouTube presented, make a bit of variation, use a different version of code, and execute it and see, and that would become something that you can explain. So you don't have to do things from scratch. You can look at architecture diagrams and explain in interviews as if you implemented it. And yes, this is how you will face the questions, and when you will know, okay, so I implemented an architecture, what could be the downside of it, what do people
Exactly.
expect at this level.
Perfect. And also we have another idea which we have been toying with. We have done it in the past many times. Some of you guys are new, but what we've done in the past is we have done a portfolio presentation out in the open, where a senior person or even a young enthusiast can just talk about their project, describe it, and in a panel format we give them the feedback. Or so this is one way for a junior person, or we have somebody like Sanjay come up and say, hey, here is the book I wrote, and here are the case studies in there. Let me talk to you today as if you guys are the interviewers and the hiring managers. Let me talk to you as if I was giving this presentation in a corporate meeting, and they've asked me to talk about my project. Here is how I will describe my goal, the challenges, the how I did it, and you can see where I focus on. So that'll be those kind of meetings will be very helpful provided you guys attend. Many people just like a few of you I'm seeing, in spite of the meeting was supposed to start at a particular time, 9 a.m. in the morning, and many people have joined like half an hour late or 40 minutes late, very casually, right? So if you guys want to learn, if you have the desire, we will make things happen for you. We will love to help you. But if you guys yourself take it very casually, it's not going to happen, guys. And like Ruby or Sanjay, Ruby is a lead data engineer of a VP rank. Sanjay is a solution architect. We have a lot of great people in the group who are giving their best for the COE. But you guys have to, come up and say, "Hey, I want to learn. I I will show up for the right time. I'll make sure I make time for it." Without that, it's not going to happen, guys. All right. Next question, please. We have time for two or three more questions, guys. It's about 11:30 in CST, Central Time Zone in Texas. And in Ruby's place, it's already 12:30 in the night. And she has a very long day tomorrow. Uh, she'll be available. I'll be available later on in the group. You can still ask some questions to us once in a while, but we get only one day of holiday in which we spend time with for you to prepare for these seminars, these events. We bring them to you on our weekends. And unlike India, people in the US get very few holidays. So you have to understand where we come, what perspective we are coming from. So I'm saying that we'll still be in the group. You can ask us questions, but right now, if you have some burning questions on career or some tips, please ask.
Okay. So, thanks Arun for this opportunity, and I can completely understand how much late it is for you. And thanks to you, Ruby, as well. Just one question I had, that what means nowadays we have plethora of resources available everywhere. Okay, and but as per your experience, Ruby, if you want to suggest someone who is transitioning from a non-tech, or you can say data analyst role, to D side, what would be your what we say suggested courses or roadmap you would like to suggest?
If you're asking me, and Ruby will add her own perspective, you're asking me from a data analyst or data engineer, you must learn cloud services, you must learn ADF, basics of cloud computing, ADF, and Databricks. That combo is one of the best combos. Although there are there's OS out there, there's GCP out there, but ADF plus Databricks combo is the best combo today in the market, in my opinion. Right?
Okay.
And later on, if you want to do multi-cloud and specialization, you can do that. But once you learn one, the second one becomes easy because you have the concepts very clear. They will just have a different name in the different cloud system. The names will become different, but the thing will be the same. The concepts will be almost similar to each other.
Okay.
So I would really ask all data analysts to come out of their Excel, SQL, Power BI and move to cloud world, move to ADF, move to data engineering world, because that's what is going to be the career going forward.
There's more to life than knowing how to make bar charts.
Yeah, Ruby, do you want to add something to it, like to his question?
No, I think I answered this twice during the length of this interview, that the Azure stack, that
Right,
is important.
absolutely. And within by the time 2026 ends, there'll be no future for people who are doing in only Excel, SQL, Power BI. You'll be like in maintenance mode, and doing the promotions will be stalled, or you will get very little promotions. You will have the opportunities. You will have a lot of competition, but very less opportunities, and there'll be much lesser openings than you see now, because when the companies go ahead and hire a headcount, they would prefer a person who knows better premium skills and also knows the front end, which is Power BI. And in majority of the data engineers do. If you ask Ruby, she knows SQL, she knows Excel, she knows Power BI, she knows Alteryx, she knows data engineering. Plus, she has a brilliant communication. So, you know, obviously, the premium skills will pay you more as well. Next question, please. Miki, Priyanka, Harish, Aman. Guys, this is your interaction time. You can ask anything.
So I have one question here. So when I was facing interviews, okay, so I was starting giving the interviews, okay. So most of them are focusing on, for example, if you take, um, they are while explaining the architectures, okay. So they're explaining about banking or insurance or domain specific, okay. So how we can able to answer those things, okay.
Ruby?
Domain specific in terms of, do you know about banking industry or questions like that?
Yeah, questions like that. Yeah, mostly they are focusing on retail or else insurance or else the healthcare like that way. Okay.
One
Okay.
real funny thing, one real funny thing, Ruby, is that I have been posting about 30 to 50 things every day. And only yesterday, for the fifth time, I posted introduction to retail, introduction to banking, introduction to SCM. In the freebies group that we have, there are Udemy courses on domains that are being posted for free every single day, sometimes twice in a day, because there's a guy called Mohit Solanki. He's been tasked with it to help the COE with it. And in spite of that, people keep asking, um, how do I learn about the domain? Okay. Um, but anyway, so I hope people will see the freebies group where they can learn a little bit about. We cannot learn about every domain. We have to learn about the process and the role we are supposed to fulfill. That's most important. And you can learn about a domain by talking to mentors in that space. But you don't have to be so if I'm going to insurance, I don't have to be a master of insurance or banking or SCM or supply chain. As if I have some business idea, that should be sufficient, and I can learn through different kind of courses which I'm giving away for free every single day, guys. Ruby, you can add something to it to wrap up.
I have my own personal experiences. I joined a very big commercial bank. I know zero about what is credit risk, market risk, etc., etc. I joined in and I'm doing projects on these areas, but I'm not expected to know the banking ins and outs of what these areas are.
Yeah,
My
because
job here.
she does not have to be a banking VP or a risk management VP. She can be a senior most engineer in the data engineer, knowing the processes on how to IT enable them. But what helped her in the past is just like you saw, she did a project on loans. She did a project on, so whatever project you choose, you can choose let's say a project to do in retail. You can some people choose to do an internship in an area. So those are the methods that you can learn from, apart from the freebies on Udemy that I've been supplying. All right, last two questions, guys.
Sir, it's 12:30 tomorrow. I have an early start.
Yeah. Guys, last question. Only one more question. Because you can keep asking the questions in the group again. Ruby, since nobody is speaking up, I think we'll wrap it up for today, and we'll be happy to support them with questions and guidance one on one or later on. I thank you a lot for joining today in spite of your busy schedule. I know your parents are here, so plus your weekend course are there, and so tomorrow is going to be a long busy day for you. But what is the one last tip? They ask all the celebrities this. What is the one last tip you want to give people who are data engineering aspirants who are new and they want to join?
Keep your eyes and ears open for what is happening in the data and AI industry. Be ahead of it. Like nobody's gonna tell you learn this, learn that. There's lots of people who will tell you learn this and you will get like lots of money. But it's the skilled people who know what's the fake snake oil versus what's real.
Yeah. People keep asking us, Ruby, how's the market in Bangalore? How's the market in Canada? How's the market in US? How's the market? It's like asking. A lot of times you can give an answer to this, but the markets keep changing. In general, it is a good market. Towards the year end, towards the year end becomes a little slower, obviously because of the festivities in December and New Year and all those kind of things coming. Sometimes small things here and there, like business cycles, like tariff and this that, the political equations between governments change things. So, guys, stop asking questions about how's the market in X place or Y place or Z place. Please understand that if you're working, just focus your eyes on work, getting your course done, getting some sort of internship, getting applying for jobs, taking the interviews, preparing mock sessions, learning, talking to people, being active on LinkedIn, doing a LinkedIn optimization, resume optimization. These kind of things are going to help you. Sooner or later, the market overall is great for the role. It's the only market it's one of the few markets that is moving actually. So if you look at Databricks, uh, even when US hiring was slower, people are hiring a lot of people. So stop worrying. I cannot tell you in any simpler words, guys. Stop worrying. What Ruby has tried to teach us today is that's why I opened up the session with what kind of challenges women face in US, blah blah. The reason I asked this is because I want to tell you that forget all the challenges. You can have immigration challenges, you can have food challenges, you can have buy challenges, and your Ramu Kaka did not come to drive you, or something happened. But guys, forget all those challenges. Keep on your path, keep working, stay motivated, and you will get success. That's how Ruby not only has had one success but multiple successes, and she's at the top of her game. And this is only a start for Ruby. There's she's going to climb more mountains. She's a person who has achieved success of climbing one peak. There are many peaks available out there for her. She'll keep climbing one peak after the other, keep learning as a lifelong learner. Thank you, Ruby, again, and thanks to all you guys for participating today. And hopefully, you guys will keep in touch and uh, talk to us in the group. Write your questions there. We have an AD group, ADB group, we have MAID group. We have so many data engineering groups. Write to us in any one of them, or go to global career services groups that we have. See our freebies group. Write to us in any group and we'll reach out to you. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. Good night from my side and Ruby's side. Thank you. Thank
Bye
you,
for
Ruby.
now.
Great
Thank
job.
you, everyone. Thank you, Arun, Ruby. It was really nice session, and thanks a lot.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.